Okay. I'm going to try to say numbers after the thing moves. And... 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright then. Beginning in 3, 2, 1, go. Howdy everybody, it's me, the DOM Big O. We're back in Seika here to pick up a recruit that we missed before. Actually, I don't think we missed her. It's just we're now able to get her. This is Apple. She is an apprentice strategist of Matthew. She thinks we stole Matthew away, but in reality, we kind of did. He also agreed to come with us, though. So that's how that works. Yeah. This episode is kind of a recruitment drive episode. I say kind of, because we do recruit some people, so there's that. But at the same time, at least 2 of the people we try to recruit, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to. They're just gonna have to be people we recruit later. I will try to cut out the lion's share of the part where I try to grind enemies for a specific item in order to get one of the characters and I don't get it. I'm just going to end up doing that off screen, and I'll explain that a little bit later when it becomes more relevant. For now, let's talk to Vicky and head on over to Tien. Oh no, it is Tien. Okay. Let's explore a little bit more of Milich Oppenheimer's domain. Usually when you get to this part of the game, the enemies in this area actually prove to be a little bit of a nuisance when you first get here. But this time around, they actually were... I was killing them left and right and having, like, no problems with it. So, I don't really know what that was about. Oh, here we are in Rykon. And by living up in the hills, he means when we find Lucan, finally, we'll find that that guy is nowhere near any hills. But we will buy some flower seeds and paint that will become necessary. Well, not necessary. They're for recruitment purposes. Oh, also I should mention that my money is maxed out because in between the episodes, I paid a little visit to my dear friend Gaspard, and he decided that I needed to max out my money. Nice guy that he is. This is Jabba. He is an antique person. He won't join me right now. He says I need to bring him something that he cannot appraise. The item in question is an item called the Nameless Urn. That is Lot. She's looking for her cat. These are 2 characters that I was trying to get this episode, but I ended up not actually getting. Now, the Nameless Urn is an item that gets dropped by, well, I believe it's the Holly Boys. Basically, you remember those little green leaf holly guys that were jumping around? They're basically like holly sprites, kind of, is what the Holly Boys are. And they're in the Great Forest that leads to the Kobold Village. And I'm almost certain that those are the ones that drop the Nameless Urn. There are also some palette swaps of those characters that you can fight in Milich Oppenheimer's domain where we were. There's a chance that maybe I misremembered and they're the ones that drop the Nameless Urn. Maybe I'll have to look it up to make absolutely certain. I'm going to get the item off screen. and I will have it at the beginning of the next video, and we will get him. But the other one, this girl Lot, is looking for her cat, and the only place that has a cat is the lakeside village of Kaku. Also, right now I'm exploring a little bit of my castle because I've neglected to do that up to this point to show it off a little bit. As you collect more recruits, the castle gets bigger and it gets more rooms added to it, and some of the rooms become grander. But I suppose I should show you what it looks like right now in its early stages, and as it starts to transform more, we will take tours of it then too. That was Sanchez, by the way. He is now the official party member changing person to talk to. There's Cleo. We're heading towards my own room right now. But yeah, I believe I'm on the right track with Lot, because there's only one cat that I've ever seen. I'm not sure you can actually collect that cat yet for whatever reason. I think the game has to get to a point where she will actually tell you where her cat is or what its name is. It's not that I couldn't catch it, because I'll show you. You'll see. I penned that cat in. There's no reason I shouldn't have been able to pick it up, but I couldn't. That's Quanda Rosman. He's just hanging out, all by himself. I don't think anybody wants to be his friend. Probably because he tried to kill a bunch of people. So now he's hanging out in basically, what would you call it? Like a turret? I know that a turret is like a mounted gun, but at the same time, a turret is also a partition on a castle, right? Like sort of an offshoot of it that stands on its own. I could be wrong about this. I probably am. But yeah, now that we've explored sufficiently and dropped off some of our items, let us go to... I think I go to the Great Forest first. Because I figure this will just be an easy thing to do. I am proven wrong. Now, I don't... If the Holly Boys are the ones that drop the Nameless Urn, like I'm almost certain they are, like about 95% certain. By the way, sometimes it's a little while since, in between plays, so I'm trying to check and see if maybe there was a character I might have missed recruiting somewhere around here. But there isn't. I got such good drops early on in the game. And now, at this point, my luck seems to be failing me here in this place. I'll show you what I'm talking about. The characters, the enemies themselves. I run into them easily. There it is. They're in the back center row. Holly's Spirit. Oh wait, the little ones are Holly Boys? So wait, are there just also Holly Spirits out there? Maybe I really did have this completely wrong. Anyways, we wiped the floor with these things for a while, and then I eventually pretty much give up on the notion of doing it this episode because I didn't want to waste that much time trying to do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and skip ahead. And I'll see you at the point where I basically eventually throw up my hands in defeat. Alright, welcome back. So yeah, it's just several minutes of fruitless killing holly spirits and such, and I didn't really get anything out of it, which sucks. Ah well. This episode's probably going to be more of an informative episode, sort of, rather than an actual, like, super entertaining one. I don't know, I'm a bit better at live commentary most of the time, especially when I'm, like, playing an RPG like this. Now I'm gonna go to Kaku and try to corner me a cat. There it is. Now honestly though, normally you would have to chase it around like this. But what I remember here in a few seconds is that I've actually got that true holy rune, which makes it so I can, or the holy rune, which makes it so I can dash. Yep, pinned it. Mashing the X button, and nothing happened, so just, it didn't work. Which means I can't get Lot her cat right now. Oh well. Now we're gonna go back into Milich's domain and check out the other two villages, I believe. Which actually nets us a couple more recruits. By the way, in this inn, there is a character later on that shows up, and it's really annoying. There, I was checking to see if Lot would tell me that her cat's in Kaku or say something different. Thought maybe I had to talk to her a few times. But yeah, there's a character that appears in that inn later on, and he is obnoxious to get because he'll only show up. There's only a small percentage chance that he'll actually show up. So here are the creepers. They're usually the things to worry about in this area. They usually take a decent beating and then deal out a pretty good chunk of damage. So I take no chances with them this first time. But they are actually... But then this starts happening. My characters start absolutely wiping the floor with them. Which is surprising to me. I'm used to being a little bit underpowered here. If I remember correctly, I think that's a prison dungeon we have to go into later. Not too much later. I'm pretty sure it's coming up pretty soon. But for now, that's not what we're looking for. We're doing recon. I believe that far left blip that's not connected to any of the dark spots, I believe that is Milich's castle. That we cannot assail right now because of his special pollen. Oh, and here we have some of the other Holly people. Holly fairies. Which, now that I've been thinking about it, may also be the ones that might drop the nameless urn. At any rate, they didn't do it this time. Oh yeah, and Pawn got a balloon over his head. That is an interesting status ailment. You get hit once, you get a balloon over your head. You get hit twice, you get a second balloon over your head, and your character just kind of floats up and out of the battle. Here, though, we get Chapman, the armorer, to join our castle. He's a cool dude. Basically, his function is that any armor shop you come across in the game, as long as you check out their selection, he will acquire that selection in his own armory. Sell off those worthless wooden shields. On our team right now, Flick is the only one that also has that can use shields, and he already has a wooden shield. And here I'm going to spend a couple of minutes upgrading everybody's gear, buying headgear for them. Which, in my mind, when I think of headgear, I think of like the upper half of like the safety gear for like sparring and boxing matches. The like big foam headrest thing. But without it coming down so far that it like covers your ears, or without the chin strap. So basically just a big foam ring around the head, around your head, which is much better than only half a helmet. Also, we now see where ninjas get their supplies from. Just this shop in a clearly European-inspired domain. What? Also, this place is selling rings and shoes for your toes. Which is the other thing as well. There is a character that we will be seeing in this town once I'm done futzing around with all of this equipment management. God, the way they handle inventory management in this game is so bad. I mean, I get it. I really do. Have everybody have their own inventory so they're all responsible for their own stuff. But at the very least, you cannot both be wearing a helmet and have it in your pocket at the same time. That's not how that works. You're not wearing a ninja gi while also having it in your pocket. Unless you stuff part of the gi into your pocket instead of stuffing it or tucking it in your pants like you're supposed to. Here I'm just basically finishing it up, buying guard rings for everybody. Nobody can wear the rose brooch. It's for only certain kinds of characters. Characters that we will be getting later on. But for now, none of our characters are sophisticated enough to benefit from the rose brooch. Alright, let's go exploring the rest of this town. Some of the people in this town look unique enough that I stop and talk to them because I think they might be recruitment characters, but they aren't. Yeah, I thought about it and I realized that someone's still suffering from the balloon ailment. I think it was Pawn, so we actually do need a needle. I had one at the beginning of the recording, and I remember when I was doing my live commentary, I was like, yes, barely anything ever puts balloons over your heads to where you actually need the pin, the needles. There's Jean. She won't join us yet because we don't have enough people in our castle. But then I go to Milich's domain, and maybe not immediately, but definitely at some point get the balloon status ailment, so I need to buy a new one. This is Kimberly. Looking at her portrait now, I guess she does have more kind of womanly features, but I always thought that her portrait looked a little mannish. That's alright. And here we have Mina. This is why I've been wearing the toe shoes all this time. I did forget that the place here actually sells toe shoes, but we have to dance with her. This is actually very good animation as she spins wildly like a top as my guy just kind of shifts left and right and does a little tiny hop. Truly, I am the best dancer. It's okay. All we had to do was impress her. It was the shoes on my toes. That's what convinced her. And I think... yeah, I check upstairs to see if there's anybody up here. Oh, and there's Esmeralda. We can't get her yet because we need a special item. An item that I know specifically where it drops, but it gets dropped by enemies, so hopefully we won't have another nameless urn situation on our hands. Go back inside. Do it. So yeah, this is about the end of the episode. By the way, there's a new dancer over there. The thing is, the people don't like her as much as Mina, but she tries hard. Alright, well, that's gonna do it for this episode. I'm the DOMBGO, and I shall see you next time!